Well, great day, busy day. Man, a bunch of fun. Starting out with obviously adding some members to the family, and then being able to go out and have position meetings and practice. I do want to kind of take this chance to run down these new additions that we had. A lot of work went into it. Credit to our recruiting crew of Derek Ray, Mike Dock, J.R. Mwala. A lot of effort from our coaching staff throughout the year. Just appreciate everything that goes into coming to a day like this and being so excited about the group we're adding to our roster. Like I said, I'm going to run down some of these guys. And then if you got questions on them later, obviously we can talk further. Jimmy Valson, receiver. We wanted to make some inroads in the state of Texas. We feel really good about Zariah Beeson that we were able to sign last year. And then Jimmy, we feel is going to be in the same mold, can make plays, physical, good size. Coach Fentz, spent a little time in Texas, obviously going with Beeson, identified Jimmy really early on. And we were able to hold on to him throughout the process. Fired up about him joining. Jake Perella really starts the connection through Trent Bray. Worked with his dad at a previous stop. And so I had a relationship with the family there. We feel like Jake's going to fit in our scheme really well at outside linebacker. Excited about him. Samisi Saluni. This has been a while process in regards to our first year here, kind of getting to know him at that point. And then he goes and serves a 2-year mission for his church. And now we're really anxious for him to arrive in January. It looks a little bit different than he did when he was coming out of high school, and that's what we were counting on. I think he can make a difference for us early on. Omarion Famui, really fired up on him. This was a battle going into Utah, but feel like he's going to help us at the line of scrimmage early on. He'll be here in January as well. Physical, loves football, great home visit with the family virtually just a few nights ago. And so, again, feel great about him. Jake Blair, quarterback out of Camas. We've had success with players from Camas, knows the Coletto family well. And feel like Jake will be a nice addition there, throwing the ball for us. Henry Buckles, offensive lineman in the state here. Like the fact that he plays multiple sports, physical. Feels like he fits our scheme well. We do see him as a center, athletically and making the calls, smart. Good get for us. JT Byrne, tight end, great story in regards to Coach Waz, tracking him down in his travels. Waz does the kind of the meat of California, Central California for us, and had to change some plans to get to go see JT, but he does a lot of things. We think he's pretty athletic. Our offense, we use the tight end a bunch. Think he's going to contribute there. Demir Collins, running back, anxious to see how many ways we can use him in the offense. Demir, we will want to use to hand him because he's dynamic with the ball in his hand, but fly sweep, put him out in the slotted receivers, special teams. We feel like he's got the talent to do all of that. Really, really fired up on him. Arnez Madison, another guy will be here in January. Got some length that Coach Adams likes in the secondary. Feel like he can run and cover. Anxious for him to get a spring ball here coming up. Easton Masqueradis. Has the relation with Akili Arnold. And so this has been about a year and a half getting to know him, know the family well. Easton did make about half our games last year in person, and we were undefeated when he showed up. And so we're counting on the same when he arrives next year. But physical player, athletic, loves ball, love the family. Great fit for our spot. And then kind of finishing with Sam Vidlak, quarterback, can throw it, make plays with his feet, loves the game, comes from a family that the dad coaches and Coach Linger went down. I identified him early, play baseball, multiple sports, but really fired up on his addition. So I'm sure I'll get asked a little bit on those guys, but we are, as a group, knew it was going to be a little bit small in regards to number of guys headed in. We don't have a huge senior class. Does leave us with some availability if, coming the month of January, what comes across our plate for the next signing date and moving forward. But really like the group in regards to targeting. You can see it. Almost each position is represented, we at least got one there. And then again, we got a little space moving forward, which we'll see where that goes. On to this game now. Injury-wise, want to just kind of give you a couple updates. I'm going to ask Champ Fleming's, I would call him out, doubtful. would be even a stretch. He just hasn't been able to do much range of motion. Bradford, I'd say, is doubtful. Same thing on the range of motion. Tried to do some stuff today, just wasn't able. We'll see what he looks like tomorrow. You know how these guys, they love to play, and things could change, but currently I'd see it as doubtful. Jamar did a little bit, hoping to do some more tomorrow, but he did do a little bit today at practice. One that which is painful is Nashawn Wright will not play in this game. Kind of got bumped in the knee, and it's not progressed like we've liked it, so he will be out. And then how about his brother yesterday, kind of fluke catching a ball, dislocated a couple fingers, and he'll be out for this game, which would have been awesome for Rajon, because Nashawn being out, Rajon would have got a bunch of time. But that's painful for those two guys. So that's the update on that part. I do think we've had 2 good days of practice, and looking forward to, again, Saturday night. We know what this challenge is. Arizona State's a good football team, but so far so good in regards to our preparation Tuesday and today. With that, fire away.
Jonathan, of the 11 guys that you signed, how many have physically seen the campus?
Right. A decent amount, actually. I don't know the exact number. I'm just looking. Jimmy's been here before. Smisi has. Omarion Hen, Jake Blair, Buckles, JT Byrne, Demir, Easton, obviously, and Sam. So whatever that is, 75%.
You no JCs in this group. Was that just coincidence or just?
Yeah, not a coincidence. A little bit of, we feel like I've said before, so much of our roster is coming back for the next year, and oftentimes when you get in the JC ranks, you're looking for immediate help. I'm not putting it outside the question that we could come across something in January or the months after, but we wanted to target high school kids.
What was Velson a priority in part because of the size too? I mean, you just don't have anybody on this roster that's really all that big.
I mean, he's got solid size. We do like receivers that can make plays, and I think they come in 5'9" and 6'4". So it wasn't specific. We had to have one guy that's taller. We really liked him and feel like he fits into our scheme.
You've got 2 preferred walk-ons out of this group. Is it unusual to sign those guys this early in the process, or is that just another coincidence?
Yeah, I don't think it's out of the ordinary. I mean, we've targeted them, we've talked to them for a long time. They felt like the fit and opportunity at our place was really good for them, and we feel like they're great additions.
How different was this year recruiting compared to a normal year, just knowing that you guys had this smaller class to work with?
Yeah, it was obviously different because it's 2020 and COVID's taken place. That was definitely different. We did know going into this recruiting cycle where our roster was landing. It was going to be a smaller group. So we kind of described it as being a sharpshooter, really targeting in on a couple that we really felt could fit our place, and we're able to land these guys. So a targeted approach, I describe it this year, maybe even more than previous years.
Everybody gets excited about in-state QBs with Vidlak. What kind of was that process like? He kind of went from somebody who didn't have a lot of offers to all of a sudden he's on your guys' radar and he signs with you guys and then gets his 3rd star and everybody kind of starts noticing all at once.
Yeah, it was a little bit of an approach. We just, every time we'd go to evaluate these guys, because it's not like we just watch the tape one time on a recruit and then we make a call on them. We just thoroughly evaluate, and each time we just kept coming back to them. I looked at a lot of quarterbacks. Brian was able before, in that December, January time, get around a lot of high schools, see some guys throw, got to some camps previous summer, and we just kept coming back to Sam. And so at the end of the day, we made the call, and we're really glad that we had, because his interest level of being in the state and being a little bit closer, and he was huge in our recruiting efforts. He's got a bunch of relationships with these guys that we signed.
How much of an impact, I know you guys recruit and evaluate way in the future, so 2021 might not have been as impacted, but what about 2022?
Yeah, we're going to be chasing good players, and again, growing our program to where, where our schemes are at. And if we're making tweaks in our schemes, then we might tweak the type of person we're looking for, or player we're looking for. But we're excited with the momentum we've got. Again, the continuity and the coaching staff that we've had has helped us to identify great fits. And I think it's beginning to progress onto the field on Saturdays.
Coach, you mentioned a targeted approach on Sam Vidlak. Originally verbally committed to University of Montana. So what was that process like? Why was he so much on your radar and then what kind of conversation is that like, trying to get a guy who's committed to Montana to come play quarterback at Oregon State?
Yeah, I think we're open and honest with him, and he knew and understood our approach and how we're going in regards to the process of communicating exactly where we're at. Got a bunch of respect for that place, University of Montana, and the coaches there. I spent 2 great years there, and so I can see why Sam was interested in that place. I loved it. But at the end of the day, it's both sides trying to find the right fit, and Sam's the right fit with us.
Jonathan, the transfer portal, how rich do you think it's going to get in the next few months?
Well, you say rich. I don't know exactly. I mean,
numbers of players in a bit.
Yeah, there's going to be guys in that, and that's why it was created. One is to create some flexibility for the player, but also just to have some transparency in that process. If guys are thinking about leaving, they go in that portal, and it's open to every college to take a look at. And so I don't know the exact numbers or how many are in there right now or anything of that nature, but it's something we'll investigate. Again, there's different avenues of how you build your roster, and that's one of the avenues.
I guess I meant more with the 2020, and there's so many guys out there with eligibility. I mean, do you think there's going to be more players in the portal than typical?
I bet there is. That would be my guess.
You're probably going to have some players looking to transfer as well. How much are you warning them that, there's going to be a lot of guys in there and this might not go well. What sort of are you, message to guys when they talk to you about transferring?
Well, oftentimes if they're talking to me about transferring, we're not, doing media press conferences about it. We get in the room and again, they got to make decisions for themselves. We're always trying to help guys help them grow, improve. And so if it gets to a point with a particular player that they're considering that, we'll definitely sit down and talk to them.
Jonathan, obviously it's early on, but are there any guys in this class that you think could have the potential to maybe contribute earlier in their careers?
Yeah, I mean, it is early to say, but yes, especially these guys that are showing up in January. But I mean, I think even think about Jamar Jefferson. He showed up in the summer and he came out and was a big time player as a true freshman. So you just don't exactly know. I know we're going to give these guys opportunities to contribute and compete right away amongst our team. And if they're going to help us and it's the right time for them to play, because it's not just about, their physical skill set, but emotionally, mentally, it's a lot of demands to play college football. If those guys are ready and they're going to contribute, we're going to play them.
When you throw these players into the mix, where do you feel like you're still a little lean and you're sort of looking for players? What positions?
Right. I think I wouldn't be surprised if we tried to track down another O-lineman. Again, you're always a difference maker D lineman potential. But obviously when this season ends too, we'll kind of see, like you mentioned, on who exactly is coming back, and then we'll make adjustments position wise in our recruiting.
How sort of chaotic do you think these next few months after the season are going to be, with every player getting a year back and the transfer portal maybe being a little more full than it usually is? Do you anticipate it being a little more hectic than it would during a normal year?
Right. I don't know if I'd describe it as hectic. I mean, again, we're going to have conversations with these guys after this season ends, and we'll have a pretty good idea of what they want to do. And then once we know that, we'll be able to attack our roster management in January.